Yeah.
What's that on that beat? Ho.
I'm different, yeah, I'm different. I'm different, yeah, I'm different. I'm different.
I'm gonna go over just like a brief history of who I am and what it is that kind of gets me going every day. When I was born in 1986 in Tucson, Arizona. My dad was actually a football player at the U of A, and when I was born, the day I was actually born, my dad was in Japan playing in the Japan Bowl. And that year, my dad was actually drafted to the Detroit Lions in 1986. And so for the first, I would say, 5 years of my life, my dad was playing football. So it was just me and my mom. My mom didn't have a lot of money. She didn't. She lived with her sisters, and we kind of took the bus and walked everywhere, and we just made do. And when I was about 6 years old, my mom moved to San Diego, and it was me, my mom, and then my dad had his own house, so I would rotate from my mom and my dad's house. And when I was about 7 years old, my mom actually left San Diego and came back to Arizona, and it was just me and my father. And about a year or two later, my father meets Angela, my stepmother, and that was my first time ever having like a family environment. And eventually she ended up having my baby sister Alexis, who I'm so proud of. If you're not following her, it's Alexis Ryan. It's Alexis Ryan official page, so go follow her. She is an actress and a model, and she's beautiful. So anyway, I'm really proud of my sister. But what I wanted to, I kind of wanted to go into some of the things that happened in my life that kind of made me switch my thinking a little bit. When I was 10 years old, there was an accident with my mother, and what they told me first was that she fell and hit her head on a fire hydrant. My mom was actually in a coma for 3 months, and the actual story that happened was she was shot in her head by her boyfriend, and she was in a coma. And there's a lot to there's a lot that there's a lot that had a major effect on how I viewed life. And I just felt like I was a sad little kid. Like I always wanted to be with my mom, and she wasn't there, and I was a really sad little kid. And it was rough, but I learned from that to be independent and to make life my own, because nobody else was going to make life for me. I spent most of my childhood just being sad, and when I got into high school, I just didn't want to be sad anymore. And so I played sports growing up, baseball, basketball, football, and all of those things kind of helped me fit in, and kind of helped me develop as a person, and more importantly, develop as a survivor. Because in any sport, you lose, you win, and that's what it comes down to at the very end, is whether you lose or whether you win. Because life is just a big game, and if you can come out on top and you can get that win, you're gonna have a happy life. And there's nothing in this world that makes me happier than feeling a sense of accomplishment, whether that be with my children, whether that be with a sports game, whether that be with business, and just in daily life, just as a whole. So when I was when I was 10, my mom was shot in the head, and so it was devastating, because she has and will always be a beautiful and smart and just all around good person, and that's never gonna change. But just the personality that the person that she actually is a little different than before she got shot in the head. I mean, it's there was some serious damage done. There was some serious damage done when she was shot in the head, but she's doing good now. She's married, living in Minnesota with her husband, and I'm proud of her for getting her life together. And it's not about how old you are. It's about making that decision to change your life around. If you're not going to make that decision to change your life around, then it's not going to happen. And it's crazy. And so I lived with my dad from about 7-8 years old till I was a senior in high school. And when I was 13 years old, I was walking to school, and I saw my dad's car parked in a parking lot. So I go to my dad's car, and this was the first time that I saw my dad cry. What happened was there was an altercation with a couple of gang members from the Crips and my Uncle Kevin, and they ended up stabbing him to death. And while I was walking to school, I saw my dad in the parking lot, and they actually stabbed him in that parking lot, across the street, and he died in the little foyer in the apartments. And it's crazy because that day, as a 13-year-old kid, like that's like something that you shouldn't be seeing, So 3 years prior, my mom was shot in the head. 3 years later, my uncle was killed due to gang violence. And at me, like at that point, I quit baseball. I stopped playing baseball. I focused all my energy on football and just getting my aggression out. And that was actually that was probably my best year in football. I played for the Grossmont Warriors, and it was an awesome year as far as sports goes. But in my head, I was just going through a lot, and I didn't even know it at the time. And is this normal for every kid to go through? So eventually, in high school, I started experimenting, started doing drugs, started drinking a lot. And it got worse and worse as I got older and went to college. And I spent a semester at Cal State Stanislaus and just kind of blew that away, and by drinking and drugging and just not knowing what it was that I wanted to do with my life. And went back to San Diego, and I got involved with some bad people, and ended up having to leave San Diego, and I came out to Arizona to start over with some friends. And when I came to Arizona, I ended up meeting a girl, and later on she became my wife, and we now have 4 kids together. And really what changed me was the birth of my son, and knowing that it wasn't all about me. I had a purpose, and I had a reason for wanting to better myself, because before I didn't. I think we all have that fire inside of us. We just have to find what ignites that fire. And for me, it was being a dad. And I think this goes right along with Father's Day, because without my father being there for me and being the strong man that he is, I don't think that I would be half the man that I am today. And I owe all of my success to my mom and my dad, because without those two people, I don't think I would just be a normal person. Like, if I just grew up like a normal person in a normal family home, like, I would just be like everybody else. But I feel like because I went through those things so early, and I went through a lot more than just that, but those are some of the bigger things that I can tell you guys right now. And it's amazing that, you know, for me, if I can do it, anybody can do it. If you can change your life around, if I can change my life around, then you can change your life around. There's no permanency in this world. Like, you, especially in America, you can change like that. You can change in an instant. And it's not about, you know, it's not about who has the most money. It's not about who has the best car. It's not about who's wearing the new J's, who's got the biggest chain. It's not about any of that. It's not about who has the biggest house, who has the biggest pool. It's about being happy and being fulfilled and feeling a sense of accomplishment. And if you can feel that sense of accomplishment, then, like I said before, your life is just going to be that much better. And when things come your way, you're not going to sit there and dwell on it, or if things go, you know, things don't go your way, you're not going to sit there and dwell on it, and you're gonna move forward and figure out how to get to that next level. And if it comes up again, then you're ready for it. And I think that me going through some hard times as a kid, I think it got me ready for life. And whatever life throws at me, it's not gonna affect me, because I've seen worse, and it's not gonna affect me. So I just wanted to jump on really quick and just kind of share my story a little bit with you guys, to show you guys where I'm coming from, that I'm not just a bunch of fluff. Like, this is me. This is who I really am. Like, this is what I do. You know, I love to give back, and I love to win. Like, I just have that winning mentality, and I just want to win. But anyway, so this is a millionaire booklet. If you haven't picked yours up from Grant Cardone, do so. Boom. And also, this is a book written by my grandfather, who was one of my biggest mentors. Him and my father. So if you haven't seen this book, it's Paying the Price: Life in Football and Beyond by Ernell Durden, and it goes through his trials and tribulations growing up as a black man in a society where where being black wasn't accepted, and just breaking all kinds of barriers in the football world, in life in general. Just so much extraordinary things that he did in his lifetime that just motivated me to want to be better. And I'm grateful that I have my grandfather that I can talk to right now, and I take advantage of that, because you never know when somebody's gonna go. So if you haven't talked to your grandparents and they're still alive, like, reach out, see what they've been through, see what they have to offer you, because they know a lot more, and they've been through a lot more things than you and I ever have. And it's crazy, but learning from other people's mistakes, like, sometimes you gotta make mistakes yourself in order to learn, and that's fine. But if you're just making mistakes and not learning from them, then you're gonna be in a world of hurt. Anyways, it's Motivational Monday. I appreciate you guys tuning in. I appreciate you guys listening to me, and kind of hearing a brief synopsis of my story. But peace. Thank you for tuning in to the Hustler's Ambition. We out here all day. We hustling. We trying to get it in. We grinding. Ain't nobody gonna hold us back. We're number one. Peace.